Hey traders from around the world, what's going on? It's me, Jeremy Alexander Newsom with the only realLifeTrading.com. Hope everyone's doing fantastic. It is Friday, gotta get down on Friday. SPY, a little bit of a higher shadow today, not too terribly much going on. What we'll notice with this upper shadow, of course, a little bit of selling pressure. The gap today was a bullish gap and go, black candle gapping up. So that was a little bit of a bullish sentiment, right, on the SPY. But looking at the weekly chart, you would not even notice that this week was bearish, right? Nice looking weekly candle. All things right now looking pretty good on the SPY. Brandon, congrats on your 240, 235 bull put spread expiring worthless. Very nice. Here's the 100 simple on the SPY, chilling at about 242, looking pretty good. Dow Jones ETF also made a little bit of a higher high and a higher low. Nothing to really see here. The Qs, inside day candle almost perfectly. So the high of today was 1 penny above the high of yesterday, but the Qs did have a little bit of a bullish gap. They're still chilling. Here's the weekly chart. Again, a little bit of a bullish candle, and again, kind of just hanging out. So the Qs doing their thing. IWM, a lot of real life traders are in some call options on the IWM. What's fantastic is today is a perfect doji. So if you're watching this and you got triggered into our weekly options newsletter trade on this day right here, actually last week, you're up about 40% on those calls. Yes, we did hit a resistance, which is the 200 simple moving average, but today with the doji candle at the 200, very simple. The fact that we have been making higher highs and higher lows almost all week, I would say we make a higher high and a higher low Monday, Tuesday, keep holding. Trend looks good, volume looks good, doji looks good. A lot of traders in some bull put spreads on the IWM, so it'll be fun to kind of see how those transpire and what those end up doing. Let's go look at some stocks that were requested. Here's ExxonMobil, and ExxonMobil weekly chart broke down in a big way. Now, obviously, Exxon, a longer term blue chip buy and hold, yawn, pretty boring type of stock. But what we can't argue is that it really looks like you had this massive double top type of pattern, closed below the neckline. You got the sideways movement. It ended up breaking down. And this entire week, this was the weekly candle right here. I mean, an inside week, very small range candle. As you all know, I love ExxonMobil. It's a longer term position, and I like this pennant pattern. Hopefully it bounces bullish, but if it breaks down, I most certainly will consider planning to get into some protective puts for September just to offset the costs of ExxonMobil going down. So overall, that's my thoughts on ExxonMobil. Looks a little bit more bearish than bullish. Tesla, down 1% today. Not too much going on with Tesla. Bottom line, there was a lot of real life traders in bullish on Tesla. Neil's had a put sale expiring worthless today. Back here in July, after that hammer of Thor candle that came in, talked about everywhere I could, getting into some January 330 call options for Tesla. Just yesterday, sold the 372.50 September week 2 calls against those call options. That particular call option already up about 14 hundo, and if this one expires worthless, that would add to the lowering of the dollar cost average. So I did a 370 call sale against Tesla that expired a week and a half ago, and this one we'll see. Got 2 weeks left, 1 free day of theta next Monday. We'll see on Tesla, but overall, big picture, I really think this is a wave 4 on a weekly chart. Let me kind of draw it for you. So here's my thoughts on Tesla personally. 1, 2, 3, some kind of big wave 4, wave 5. Big wave 4s usually triangles, flat patterns, some type of higher lows, lower highs. We'll probably hang out here for a while and then end up popping. So longer term bull put spreads, call options. If you have shares, do some covered calls. Let's see if this thing breaks out. That's my thoughts on Tesla. Here's another request. Google today. Hanging out. Here's the daily time frame. Here's the 100 simple moving average. What I'm looking for next week is Google to form an inverted head and shoulders pattern. Not saying it's going to happen. I'm just simply saying if it does, I won't be bearish. I did today scout out for some iron condor money on Google. Bear call spread up here, bull put spread down here. I could get about 10% return for September week 5, which isn't ostentatiously terrible, but I just ended up pausing and taking a halt on that trade and not taking it. So I'm not in any position right now on Google. I'm just simply waiting for that inverted head and shoulders pattern to play out potentially. What I can say, however, is if we close below the low of that candle right there, I'll be just a hair more bearish on Google. You do have a really good support right about there. You might remember last week I lost on a Google swing trade on that candle right there. So just chilling. More iron condorish than anything on Google, but premium's kind of hard to come by. Square was down 2.5% today. Here's the exponential moving averages, and you'll notice Square just kind of chilling at some of these moving averages. Earlier today, so the high of today's candle, the high of this candle, the high of this candle are all almost the same. In fact, the high of this candle that came in on Wednesday and the high of today's candle are the exact same high. So I will be looking for this trade next week on ticker symbol SQ. A break above 25.93, the stop at about 24.79. Otherwise, Square will just kind of keep hanging out for a while. It likely at some point will pull down to the 100 simple moving average, and then it'll be pretty buyable. Here's the weekly chart. Nice little bullish high wave candle. Here's your EMAs. Just hanging out. So I'll be watching for Square to pop higher potentially next week. It doesn't have to, but I'll be watching it. Shake Shack, not doing anything. Here's the weekly chart. A little bit of a small candle, kind of a high wave indecision candle. There are a few real life traders in this one bullish, looking to play the channel on Shake Shack. And simple fact is, if this thing doesn't start bouncing in about by this time next week, if we don't have a bullish candle or some kind of bullish volume or some semblance that's going to go higher, if you're in shorter term calls, probably look to bail on those and then look to hop back in if you get some bullish signals. If you're in longer term calls like December, January, or if you're in shares, give another 2 or 3 weeks on Shake Shack down here. But it is, at least in my opinion, a buy low, sell high. And we got 3 left. Here's Snapchat, ticker symbol SNAP. Wanted to do a bullish swing trade on Snapchat last week. I know you guys saw me talk about that. Here was the inverted head and shoulders pattern. I canceled it, didn't get triggered in. We're battling the 50 right now on Snapchat. Volume is kind of coming in a little bit. So if we continue to hang out here in Snapchat, trade sideways, and then pop above this 50, I will be looking for a little bit more bullishness to come in on ticker symbol SNAP. Today I traded like a one-legged flamingo playing tennis with a bowling ball. Lost 1.9 R to be sitting at 5 R for the month. And really, it was just an absolute travesty, kind of like a cinder block swims on Urban URBN. I did make money on the trade, so I can't complain about it, but we had 3 real-life traders just absolutely take me to the woodshed. We played Urban bullish. It was a very easy setup, and I just butchered this one, guys, and I'll talk about it in just a second, but here's the 5-minute time frame. Let me turn off the extended hours. Again, it was a bullish gap and go, very nice gap. Here is your double bottom, boom. There's the double bottom right there. Had a limit buy right there, stop right there, and it was just an amazing trade. Got out way too early. Didn't hold the trade nearly long enough. Shout outs to my girl over there in North Carolina Civil. She crushed this one. Drake up there in Massachusetts. Congrats, my man Glenn. You did very well on this as well. I just butchered it. Did not make nearly enough money. Got out way too early on Urban. Got out like right here or something. It was just abysmal. And I came into an interesting realization that, I mean, really, the stress that a lot of day traders will come into will come from the bill paying pressure, right? If you are looking for the end of the month to approach, you got some bills coming up, whatever they might be, cell phone, Vegas, whatever your bills are that are like, whoa, I didn't know I owed that much money. Sometimes when that comes around, you've got to be disciplined, more disciplined than I was today, to hold the profits longer, because you will get into a mentality of taking profits too early and holding on to losers too long. And that's how I acted today. It was really poor trading, so I just apologize for everyone in the morning room today. I say that, I mean, I'm only down 1.9 R. There are some traders, a lot of traders made money today. It was just me. I had a bad performance. I don't like any day where I lose money, but it happens. That's just a fact. I know not that many other companies talk about it, and so you think that they always make money and everyone in trading rooms always make money because they always post their winners. But at the same time, Abraham Lincoln said, don't believe everything you see on the internet. So what I'm getting at is, if you are trading, you will lose. You will have losing days. Mathematically, if you lose less money than you win, you will be profitable. So even though I'm at 5R for the month, down 1.9R for the day, I'm gonna come back at it hard next week, real hard, gonna crush it, gonna focus on my risk. I realize what my problem is. I'm chasing profits right now. I'm letting the pressure of paying the bills get to me. So I'm gonna meditate a little bit. I'm gonna forget about it. I'm gonna realize and take inventory in the fact that I have the money, it's available. Worst case scenario isn't that bad. I'm gonna take a breath. I have food, I have a home, I have clothes, I have people that I love, I have people that care about me. Emotionally, gonna be a little bit of a tough weekend. Lost my best friend 1 year ago this weekend, so that's gonna be a little bit of an emotional block as well. So I'm taking a little bit of time off this weekend, gonna go spend some time with an incredible trader and a really good friend of mine up there in Kentucky. His name is George and his wife Carrie. So I'll be doing that this weekend, but next weekend I'm going to be ready to rock it out. So I hope you are ready for some energy. Let's look at 3 other swing trades really quick. Ulta, Salon, and Cosmetics. Looking like a head and shoulders pattern on the weekly chart. Here's your long-term moving averages, and this is definitely some bearish confirmation. What I'll be looking for at this point is probably a retracement and then a continuation lower. Today was a retest gap after all. Here's the daily chart, right? Black candle gapping down. So watch Ulta Beauty Incorporated to kind of retest and then slowly roll over and do its thing. And Sam requested Facebook. So here's my thoughts on Facebook. I'm going to zoom in here to the hourly chart and just kind of look at this channel that's been happening on Facebook. And realistically, you'll notice that you do have a pretty good set of lower lows and lower highs. The trend is obviously still bullish, so you want to buy the dip. Correspondingly, what's interesting with Facebook is that dip actually corresponds right with the 50 exponential moving average. Didn't know that one actually drew the circle, but it is there. Brandon's got a bull put spread 160, 155 expiring, I believe, next Friday. So that one will get close, Brandon, but should be okay. And then last but not least is Baba. Baba had a much needed pullback today. Very nice evening star reversal pattern for the last 3 days. The trend is bullish for sure on Baba, but you got to buy the dip at this point. You don't want to be buying at the all-time high. Literally, we made new all-time highs yesterday. So here's the hourly chart. If you're going to get really aggressive on Alibaba, my most aggressive entry that I have planned right now is an entry at about 169 with a stop at about 166, right? Buying right around that 50 EMA. Which is also right around the 10. Now, if I lose on that trade, I'll still try it again, but the trend is definitely bullish. Pick a moving average and or pick a support resistance that you want to buy off of, plan it, set it up, lose small if you're wrong, take it on the chin, and then move on to the next trade. That's really all we can do here on Baba. Now, I did post a covered call analysis for anyone in shares, $200 October covered call on Baba, timing and trying to pick the top on Baba, more or less saying, hey, this trend needs to slow down at least a little bit. So if you did that covered call, you're already up about 35 cents on the covered call. You'll probably be able to buy it back in about a week or so for much, much less than $1.15. So if you have shares, hey, free dollar cost average, lower that price point. Next really, really good target on Baba would be 160. If we pull back to there, I will buy with all my might. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks so much for tuning in to your Friday real life stock review. I will see you all on Monday of next week. Enjoy your weekend. And until then, remember, love life, live life, and trade it. I'll see you later.